You know the drill. You walk into the bathroom, you close the door, and boom, there he is. Your Frenchie is sitting right outside, just staring up at you through the crack like you've completely abandoned him. But here's the thing most owners don't actually realize. He's not waiting for the bathroom. He's waiting for you. Because the very second you disappear behind that door, the game changes for him. He can't see you anymore. And for a Frenchie who is incredibly used to keeping tabs on his favorite person, even that tiny, brief separation instantly grabs his attention. So if your Frenchie follows you into the bathroom, waits outside the door, or just totally trails you from room to room, there is a very specific reason he's doing it. And once you understand what's actually happening in his head, this whole bathroom habit is going to make a lot more sense.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the mystery of exactly why your Frenchie follows you to the bathroom. We'll unpack what this behavior actually means, and crucially, how to tell the difference between a Frenchie who just loves hanging out with you and one who might actually be struggling when you're apart. By the time we wrap up, you'll know exactly what to look for the next time those little paws come pattering down the hallway behind you. Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the bathroom door mystery, then look at routines and accidental rewards, explore how they are born to be shadows, tackle normal attachment versus distress, talk about practicing healthy separation, and finally, reveal the real reason behind it all. All right, let's jump right into part one, the bathroom door mystery, and what happens when you move out of sight. Think about it for a second. Why the bathroom? I promise you, your Frenchie literally could not care less about bathroom privacy. To him, you were just walking into another room. But the exact second you disappear behind that door, you are suddenly out of sight. And that quick disappearance is enough to trigger a very specific instinctual thought process. Basically, wait, where did my human go? So naturally, he follows. And honestly, that's why the bathroom probably isn't the only place your Frenchie shadows you, right? You walk into the kitchen, he's right behind you. You head to the bedroom, boom, there he is. Step into the laundry room for literally 2 seconds, he's already on your heels. Because the bathroom itself isn't the important part here. You are. Your dog notices when you move away, and following you is just his way of staying close to the person he loves. Looked at that way, the obsession makes sense. But there's actually another layer to this. Your Frenchie might know exactly where you're going before you even get there. That brings us to section 2, routines and accidental rewards, or how your dog is basically predicting your next move. This is where your Frenchie proves he is shockingly good at reading your daily routines. You might think you're just casually getting up to use the restroom, but your Frenchie has watched you do this dozens, maybe even hundreds of times. Think about the sequence. You stand up, you do a little stretch, you start walking down the hallway, you pivot toward the bathroom, and before your hand even touches the doorknob, he is already right there behind you. That's because dogs pick up on patterns that we don't even realize we're making. The specific way you get off the couch, the direction you walk, which doors you open, even the time of day. It's the exact same logic as when you grab your car keys and he suddenly gets super excited. You didn't tell him you were leaving, but he recognized the pattern. Your bathroom routine works the exact same way. He sees the clues, his brain connects the dots, and he says, yep, I know exactly what's happening next. So he follows. But here is where it gets super interesting. All that following, it might have morphed into a deeply ingrained habit. And, well, you might actually be playing a bigger role in this than you think.
Without even meaning to, a lot of us create what's basically an accidental conditioning loop. Think about it. Every time your Frenchie follows you into the bathroom, something happens. You look down at him, right? You say something in that cute dog voice. You laugh. Maybe you give him a little scratch behind the ears. Or maybe you actually leave the door open because he's giving you those massive, totally irresistible puppy dog eyes. Now to you, those moments are just harmless and cute. But your Frenchie is learning a very simple equation. If I follow my human, I get attention. And dogs are wired to repeat behaviors that are rewarding. So he follows, he gets attention. He follows again, he gets more attention. Fast forward, and following you becomes just a normal part of his daily routine. You've officially hired a full-time four-legged shadow. And the funny thing is, you might think he's following you because he needs to go outside or wants food, but sometimes the following itself is exactly what he wants, because just getting that interaction with you is the reward.
Moving on to section 3, born to be shadows. Let's talk about the companion dog lifestyle. We really have to talk about breed traits here, because being a Frenchie matters a lot in this context. French bulldogs were bred first and foremost to be companion dogs. Simply put, being close to their people is basically their entire job description. If you're chilling on the couch, he wants to be on the couch. You're cooking in the kitchen, he's in the kitchen. You sit at your desk to work, and suddenly he's sleeping on your feet. So when you head to the bathroom, of course he's coming too. To your Frenchie, being glued to your side isn't weird at all. You are his whole world. So when you get up and walk away, his natural reaction is just, well, if you're going, I'm going.
Living with a Frenchie often feels less like owning a pet and way more like having a tiny breathing shadow. But we need to pause here and make a really, absolutely crucial distinction. Wanting to be near you is totally fine, but the real question you have to ask yourself is, what happens when he literally can't be near you? Which leads us to Section 4, normal attachment versus distress, and knowing the critical difference between the two.
Okay, let's slow down for a second because this is the educational part that is super easy to overlook, but it's so important for your dog's well-being. If your Frenchie follows you to the bathroom, then just kind of plops down, waits patiently, and totally relaxes until you come out, that is completely fine. That's just normal attachment. But let's say you walk into another room, close the door, and he immediately starts whining. Then he starts scratching at the paint. He's barking. He's pacing back and forth. He's getting visibly worked up and frantic because he can't get to you. That is a totally different story. That is possible distress. And this right here is the golden rule. The important clue isn't whether he follows you, it's what happens when he can't follow you. A dog who watches you walk away, lets out a little sigh, settles down, and just goes to sleep is showing you a very healthy mindset. A dog who literally cannot relax the second you are out of sight is showing you something entirely different. It's so easy for us as owners to misread this. We see them following us everywhere and we think, "Oh, he just loves me so much." And yes, he absolutely does. But if he is having a genuine meltdown every time you're separated, he might not just want to be near you. He might actually be struggling to function without you. So, here's how you test this. Next time you leave the room, don't focus on the following. Watch what happens when you stop. Sit down on a chair and just observe. Does he eventually settle nearby and find a comfy spot to relax? Or is he constantly pacing, whining, and obsessively trying to get into your lap or through a closed door? That reaction is the key to understanding your dog's mental state.
So, let's look at Section 5, practicing healthy separation, and how to gently help your shadow learn to stay.
Now, if you are noticing that frantic pacing or distress, don't panic. You don't have to jump into some intense training boot camp. You just start small. Give him a really comfortable spot that's all his own, like a nice bed, and give him something safe and super engaging to focus his energy on. Then, you just practice very short periods where you are nearby but not right on top of him. Because remember, the goal here is not to make your Frenchie stop loving you or to push him away. The goal is simply to teach him that being a few feet away from you is safe, and it's completely okay. And honestly, the best tool for this is a simple interactive toy. It's not about distracting him so you can sneak away. It's about giving him a positive, independent activity while you're still in the room.
Here is how easy this is. Step 1, give him the interactive toy in his comfy spot. Step 2, take just a few steps away. Step 3, come right back. Step 4, repeat. Literally, that's the whole drill to start. You aren't trying to lock him in a room for an hour. You're just showing him, hey, I can step away, you can chew on this awesome toy, and everything is fine. Start with whatever distance he can handle. If that's just 3 feet, great. Once he's totally chill at 3 feet, make it 10 feet. Eventually, you can step into the hallway for a few seconds. Keep the steps incredibly small so he never hits that panic mode. Oh, and by the way, if you were looking for some good interactive toys that actually hold a Frenchie's attention for these little practice sessions, I've linked a few really great options down in the description. Totally optional, just check them out if you need some ideas. Because again, we aren't trying to stop him from being your buddy. We just want your little shadow to learn that sometimes you can move and he can confidently stay. Finally, that brings us to Section 6, the real reason, and why it really is all about you. So after all of that, why does your Frenchie insist on following you to the bathroom? Well, now you know the secret. It has absolutely zero to do with the bathroom itself. It is 100% about you. You are the center of his universe. You're the person he watches, you're the person whose daily habits he has completely memorized, and you're the person he feels safest with. So when you get up to leave a room, his little brain basically defaults to where you go, I go. That is why those little paws magically appear behind you, even if you are literally just grabbing a towel for 30 seconds. So next time you hear that familiar pitter-patter in the hallway, try not to think, ugh, why is he always underfoot? Instead, remind yourself he just wants to make sure he knows exactly where his absolute favorite person in the world is. And let's be real, that level of devotion is what makes living with a French bulldog so incredibly special. You don't just get a pet, you get a tiny, loyal, four-legged shadow who genuinely believes that every single thing in life is better when you're doing it together. Just keep an eye on how he handles it when you actually do have to close the door between you, and make sure he's as comfortable alone as he is by your side. Now, I am super curious to hear from you all. Does your Frenchie follow you into the bathroom too? Or do you have a little shadow that follows you quite literally everywhere you go? Tell me all about it down in the comments. And seriously, if your Frenchie has ever done something just ridiculously funny or absurd just to make sure they could stay near you, I absolutely want to hear that story. Because let's face it, Frenchies are absolute professionals when it comes to following their humans. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you in the next explainer.